Okay.
大家好，今天是2月3号。
What do you?
这是我的朋友。Do that again. Okay, 3, 2.
Hey, what's up, guys? Today I'm here with Anthony Saleh from Anthony Saleh Photography, and you can find his handle here. That's either on Facebook or Instagram. And today we're going to be talking about how to start freelancing as a photographer. And I'm particularly interested in the subject because this is something I'm trying to start myself, and Anthony here has been helping me along the way. So, Anthony, how long have you been working as kind of like a freelance photographer?
I officially started my business in 2013, and it's been pretty steady since then. And every year it grows, and some years, we've had that.
Yeah. Business is up and down.
Business is up and down.
So, like, when you got started, was it a straightforward process in the sense of like, I'm going to become a photographer and I'm going to do this, or was it more something you stumbled into?
I feel like I kind of fell into it. So during college, I met people in different programs in fashion and business and all over the map. And it was the connections that I made with those people that influenced the work that I do today. It all began when I met somebody in a fashion program and they were volunteering their services. So I thought I could help them in some way. So I brought my camera along to their volunteering opportunity, and I created a time lapse. And the cool thing is that through the time lapse that I created, this was the first time lapse I ever made. So you can imagine,
wow.
it was really bad. I was
trial and error,
clicking the camera, and like there were jumps in between frames. But through that experience, I made a video, and I showed that to other people. They saw it and they enjoyed it, and they actually began to hire me for that work. So I learned how to do more time lapse, and today I do lots of work in that field.
Awesome. Okay. When you first went for that volunteer opportunity, what was your kind of experience before that? Because I'm sure that wouldn't have been the first time you've held a camera, right? Like you've had like a couple of projects before, or like
some experience. Yeah. So everything I knew about photography before that was either learned through high school, which was mainly film. So I was in the dark room, but most of that didn't have any application in the advertising realm because a lot of it was through digital cameras and time lapse. So after high school, I learned mainly at Humber College's digital photography program, and I reckon it's called creative photography now. Great program. So all my experience was through first year projects.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like photographing a brick, recreating advertisements, and so forth. So
this is early on.
This is pretty early on.
Like when you first got started, what would you say is was the most difficult thing to do? Because I'm sure, like, as you know, freelancing work isn't an easy thing to do. There's a lot of things you have to take in count of, in the sense of generating leads, seeking out new opportunities, and whatnot.
I had to begin thinking about how am I going to go about creating prices, how am I going to go about looking for work, and this was all prior to this opportunity that presented itself through the time lapse. So I had no idea, and through the work that I did through volunteering, a lot of the opportunities I have now kind of fell through that. So I stumbled into having my own clients and showing that work and creating some beautiful portfolio pieces with low risk, which was fantastic because I didn't have to go out and approach companies and say, hey, can I photograph your product? I don't know anyone there. I had to cold call. I didn't really do much cold calling.
Oh, okay. So at the time, were you also working like a part-time job as well, or were you just kind of doing this as your main thing?
I was not working a part-time job. My philosophy was mainly to learn as much as I could and then use that information to get a better job later rather than... But I don't think everyone has that opportunity. So luckily, I saved up a lot of money when I was in high school. I worked a part-time job for pretty much grade 9 to 12. And all that money I saved, I invested into the equipment that I used during college.
Oh, awesome. Okay, so starting out, you would say that you kind of had a head start in the sense of being able to afford all this gear, I guess, to get started on this type of work. Yeah. Yeah. Definitely having that money to have that technology was very helpful. Because I think when you're first starting out, a lot of photographers are kind of conscious of the type of gear that they're bringing to show the clients, because it is I guess like a sign that you've been working in the field for a little while and gives the client confidence in your ability to produce the work. Like, would you say that's an important thing to have versus not having the gear at all?
I'd say like to an extent, because like I went to Humber College, they had a cage there. And for those who don't know what a cage is, it's essentially a place where students can rent equipment for free because it's associated with the program. And that's a huge benefit to have professional lenses, different types of equipment, like even cameras. We had the Hasselblads, these massive medium formats. So if we ever had a client, which we weren't supposed to do, never bring a client to the studio. You're not allowed to accept paid work.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Well, we could put them into that studio. We could work for them, but maybe just don't tell anybody.
This is my friend.
Dude, this is my friend, like Bob. He's in an executive suit. So that would never happen. But actually, I let's rewind a little bit. Sometimes that happened. But usually it's like a friend that actually are an associate of Humber College, like a professor or another student, and they're actually willing to help you. It's not accompanied.
Name a specific time that you had a bad experience with a client and how you went about approaching the situation.
Well, I feel like working for yourself presents itself with many negative situations where you don't have the protection of a large company, such as avoiding, like clients who are avoiding paying, or people who damage your cameras, like you rent them out.
Okay.
Yeah, like, imagine for instance, Henry's, they rented out their equipment for a number of years. Now they don't do that. So if someone who owns their own equipment, you have to go about having your own policies, insurance, and protection, like a huge umbrella. So, and you have to execute all that by yourself. One experience I had that was negative was a client who didn't want to pay, and it was for a large amount. At the time when I was a student, anything that you could get to help pay for the bills was helpful. However, usually they price your services at a low amount, so you're already discouraged from doing the job, but you want to do it anyway, so you can make ends meet, and they still don't want to pay. How I resolved it was through communication with that person, and I felt like never to ruffle the feathers, never bother people or get angry at anyone, just talk to them. It doesn't work all the time, but I feel like the calm approach is the best.
So did you end up getting paid for that job? Was it really difficult for them, like, to pay up?
It did take several months, but I ended up getting paid. So
great.
Yeah.
Awesome. Share a funny story that you had while you were on the job one time.
So I was in China, and I was going to a mountain called Huangshan, and Huangshan literally translates to Yellow Mountain. It's like the biggest mountain, most famous mountain. I'm not sure about biggest, but it's a really big deal there. There's two ways to get to the top of this mountain. There's a cable car, and then there's walking. And trekking this mountain is about 4 or 5 hours to the top, from the base to the top. And I thought, okay, that's going to take a long time, and it only costed like, I don't know, $5 for the cable car, so why would I $1 an hour?
Yeah.
It's insane. So I just take the cable car, and and on the way back down, I didn't actually look up the times that the cable car stopped running. And actually, let's rewind a little bit. So I hired a translator to come with me from 5 hours away from Nanjing, and so they came from Nanjing on a bus, 5 hours, got them a room, and they stayed with me. We took the cable car, and then on the way down, they're like, when are we going to go? Because the cable car isn't running. Yeah, so we had to descend the mountain by foot in the middle of the night, and it took 4.5, 5 hours.
Oh my God.
I created a time lapse of the stars. It ended up being used in the commercial. The client was happy about it. We were all happy about it, but nobody knows the pain that I went through. Yeah. The next day, I think we actually only had 3 hours of sleep because the hotel wanted to...
you had to check out.
Yeah, check out. Oh, and by the way, when we got to the bottom, there were no public buses. There were nothing running. So
I guess you don't have Uber in China either.
Well, they have Didi, but like nothing was running.
Oh man.
Yeah, it was kind of a sad time, but a very fun time.
Since you're a little more experienced now, at what point did you figure out that photography could be a source of income to sustain yourself.
I feel like having one source of income won't just cut it. You should have multiple clients, and on top of that, you should have residual income so that you know what you're getting paid every month. If you're looking for some sort of loan in the future, banks or lenders will want to see that you're credible. So multiple sources of income is very good.
Okay. That's a really good thing to know, because I think when you are starting as a freelancer, there is going to be a lot of times where, or like months, I imagine, where like work won't come in. Currently, I work a full-time day job, and I'm just trying to build this up as my side hustle at the moment. When you are looking to build different forms of residual income, is there any recommendations that you have?
I think you should learn about all of them first. There's low risk, there's high risk, there's ones that maybe are not very obvious at first, like remember when Bitcoin started and people started investing in that, jumping on it, but now it's not really worth much. So also look at trends. Trends are huge because they can spiral out of control and make you lots of money. However, they can also be very risky.
I guess just closing off, for the budding photographer out there, what would be one piece of advice you'd leave with them today?
If I were to approach myself in high school, I would give him the advice that to keep networking and never be shy. I feel like a lot of artists are introverts, and maybe not all of them, but a lot of them are. And we tend to shy away from social interactions. So by networking with others and being positive, learn how to be an extrovert, learn how to network. It can help your business long term, and your business is you, right? You know, as an artist, you're the talent. People hire the talent. So there's a direct correlation with talent and you are the talent that they want to enlist. Yeah.
Great. Awesome. Thank you so much for being here today with me and doing this little talk. If you guys would like to check out any of Anthony's work, you can find out his Instagram here again. Thanks so much.
Thanks so much, Kyle.
Great. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you too.
All right. See you guys in next week's video. Bye.
Bye.
Awesome.
That was good.
Okay.
Was that good?
Huh? Yeah.
You want to do it again?
No.
Robin, you ready?
What?
Part round 3.
大家好，今天是 Kai, you gotta look at the camera. 3, 2